Alright guys, here I am again. Still working on the DIY, but today we're going to be doing some painting. So what you need to paint like I do is an airbrush. I used to use Badger brushes, but I've recently switched to the Neo by Iwata because I can get them locally, and it's an Iwata brush, so you know it's going to be good. You want to make sure it's clean before you start. Make sure everything's moving right. In the nozzle you can see if your needle is pulling when you pull the trigger. This is a dual action, so that means that I can, when I push, that's air, and then this is how I can control how much paint releases. Right? I like these hands down better than the single action ones because you have to turn a knob here in order to control the paint flow. I have an Iwata, it's a tankless air compressor, which is perfect for this kind of stuff. I picked it up at Michael's. If you wait till they have a 50% sale on, they have a sale every week, between 30 and 50. Wait till you can get the 50% off, and you can score that thing for probably $100. My paints, for my Myers mask, I strictly stick to Monster Makers. Here's these are both Monster Makers paints. These are both Dark Flesh, so this is the same bottle, just different labeling. But these are 4-ounce bottles. You can get them bigger. You can get them up to 128 ounces. But if you get a couple of these last forever. And you don't want to keep them for too long too, because they will go bad over time. This is Dark Flesh. I have a Dark Flesh. Then I have a white. And also what I use, and this is the magic for me, is this is just acrylic ink, the FW inks. This is not the right color, but this is the brand FW ink. And I just put a bit of that black. Make sure you don't get the pearlescent black, but the regular black. And I just mix it down really super thin with, well, that's not the right stuff. I have it here. Right here. This is 99% isopropylene alcohol. Or isopropyl alcohol, I think that's how it's pronounced. But whatever, you get the idea. That's the stuff there. You can just get this at a drugstore. That's where I get it, in the first aid section. But yeah, this is to me the magic, where my paints really shine. I don't know if any other guys do the same thing as I do, but you know, everybody's going to do their own thing and do something different. I'm just hoping that these lessons can maybe assist you on maybe getting a little creative and figuring some stuff out on your own, as opposed to just copying everything certain artists do. You don't want to do that. That's lame. You want to be original, but this should help you on your way to experimenting and figuring that shit out. Okay, so here we go. Okay, my camera battery's pretty low, but I'm just going to lay a layer of flesh. So in this sculpt here you can see the hairline, so I'm just going to paint to the hairline around, and then I'll just go, because normally I start my hair in here, so you only see about this much of the neck. So I'll do from here down. So I'm just going to leave this bald, but I'm going to lay paint down on the face, across the face, and all that. put the cap on the airbrush too. This is pretty much, this you won't really notice a whole lot. So this is just a good base layer of paint to throw down. Don't forget underneath the chin. And I'll do a couple layers of this too, just so you just know. That's the first layer. And I'll let that dry and then I'll do another one. I'll do probably 3 or 4 of those. Alright. So what I've done already is I've made sure that my airbrush is all cleaned out. You always want to make sure your airbrush is clean. That's important. I'm just going to run some water through it. Just to make sure everything's flowing good. Just want to make sure everything's flowing good, so you can see the water's coming out. So we're good. So I have just a little container here that I dump all my stuff in. Get rid of this bottle of water. Get rid of the mess. I got teeth here. I'm a messy guy. I have this squirt bottle that I just squirt some black into. You don't need much for this part. Always put your cap on. I made a mistake one time. I was painting with the cap off and I did a quick little and all the paint splashed onto the mask. So you can see that it's coming out pretty good. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is about angles and the way you hit the mask. So you don't have to go too hard at it. So what I'm doing is I'm sort of creating like false shadows in this spot, this part here. And also at the same time, you're weathering the mask as well. And this is what I'm a messy person. I'm just turning it down. It's just coming out a bit too quick for me. So next, that's the V-brow. That's what we refer to as the V-brow. And I just like to get a little of this black underneath the eyebrows. Next, like put a little bit. Just on the edge and the sides of the nose here. And also on the end of the nose. This is more for weathering. The guy that wants this mask that I'm converting this mask for, he wants it pretty weathered, so I'm not too worried about getting too bad there. So I'm just going to do very minor under the cheeks here. Might be a bit too much. That's a nice thing too, is if you do happen to go a little bit too heavy, you get it fast enough, you can just wet your finger a bit and if you just wet your finger a bit, you can wipe it off pretty quick. So I just imagine when they tore the sideburns off the Kirk mask to make the Myers mask, they'll probably be a bit sticky. So I just like to add a little bit of weathering and just in that area there. Now along here, I like to get the edge of the neck here. Already covered up in there. That's cool. And normally people would wear masks and stuff in this, but the pain on my hands doesn't really bother me too much. That's cool. So now I'm just underneath on the neck here, I'm just doing a, you can see I'm just going really lightly, just because it would be handled quite a bit here. And on the back, I like to sort of dirty it up a bit. Now under the lip too, there's a little spot. I'm just gonna hit that just a bit. Just like that. See, just a tiny bit. And that will be that for that. Maybe I might just go under this way just a bit more. I'm just going to drain all the leftover paint that I can't get out here. too. Take some of my alcohol. Pour it in. I don't know if you can see this or not. Just took some of my alcohol. I just got Q-tips handy all the time. And I'm just sort of loosening up all that paint that was in there. I dump that out my little thing. Now I'm just going to run some water. Just get all that alcohol out. You can see it went dark and now it's pretty much clear now. What's that? And my white. Most people normally shut their compressor off while doing all this too, but I'm having a bit of problems with mine, so this ain't the right white. I have a special white that I've sort of mixed up, and you can see it's a bit different, so I'm going to use that. Now I'm gonna do this white, and then I'm gonna take a break for a while and let the white dry. But you can see that when I go over the black with the white, it almost changes it blue. It's a really weird thing, but that's what happens. And again, it's all about the angles you hit. So if you want to create some sort of shadowy effect, spray like the light would hit it, like you want the light to hit it. One important thing I find is the nostrils. I like to have my nostrils really white. And since we're spraying latex, you have to give it your airbrush a good shot once in a while, just to get stop it from drying up inside your brush. See, as you can see, he's starting to come around pretty good now. I like to leave a little bit of flush showing through the cheek. You just gotta make sure you don't spray in one spot for too long either, because you'll get a nasty run and they're a bitch. So you can see it sort of starting to beat up. That's when I'll stop. I'm just going to spray the neck here a bit. That just leaves some flesh coming through there. You'll be able to know when you run out of paint too. Just stop and reload. Another thing too is try to remember to always put the cap back on your paint bottle. Hey.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya. Make sure your paint's still spraying good. Sorry about that. Fan going to bed. I used to be a big fan of a lot of flesh tones peeking through, but sort of grew out of that, I guess. I still do use I still do let the flesh peek through in certain spots, just to help with the shadowing. And just a plain white painted mask to me is really boring. I'm just waiting for that chin spot to dry, but you can see it really watery there. Once that dries a bit, I'll hit that spot a bit more. You can see under the lip there, or above the lip, the mustache area is really wet. make sure you sort of spray. I spray at the ears, so the paint is going this way across it, and you're not getting, you know, like all these contours and everything like that are not getting hit by paint, which that's how I imagine the mask would have looked, because they just sort of spray painted it, right? So I guess I aim for screen accuracy, but not 100%. Just because I think that the hero mask would have been really dumb looking just to look at it. It would have just been pretty much a white mask, so I sort of want it to look like it's just come off out of your TV type thing. I think that's about good for that. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do some weathering, so I'll show you guys that. But for now, I have to let this paint dry. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Alright guys, now that the painting is done, airbrushing I should say, I'm going to start weathering the mask. Paint's all nice and dry now. I think it's been 2 days. So I just like to make sure that none of the paint's sticking. There he is in all his glory. So I'm going to put the GoPro back on. You know, it looks silly, especially without a hat, but just so you guys can see better. If it will last. Yeah, it won't last. Okay, so I won't be using the GoPro. I lied. GoPro batteries are garbage. But anyway, here it is. So for weathering, what I do is I've taken a paintbrush, sort of like a flat paintbrush, just a small little guy, and I've cut it off. I cut the bristles off so they're, I guess they're more controllable. Like it used to be probably this long. There, so I've cut like a ½ an inch off. I just take a black, or a blank, not a black, a blank piece of paper, and I have some charcoal, and I just rub it on the paper. You can see my little marks all over this paper, and I just take my paintbrush and just dab it off on the top there, just so it's not so strong. This stuff can get pretty strong, and I'm just going to go in almost like makeup, I guess, around in the eye hole. And then what I like to do is just rub it out with my finger, because it can get pretty strong. And the same thing with the charcoal too. If it's too strong, it's not as forgiving as the paint was. But if it's on too strong, you can normally just wet your finger and get in there. It'll clean it up. So you can see a pretty decent difference already. So. Now I imagine the nose was probably fairly fairly filthy. Because when they put down the mask, they go on the nose. Now I like to leave the bottom lip alone, and I go in and just this top lip. I just like to make just the indent of the lip, or the bottom part of the lip. Just gives it more depth. Right. That's one thing, not just Myers mask, but any sort of mask or art, is if you're like even drawing, is if you want something to look deeper, the deeper it is, the darker it is, right? It goes for drawing, it goes for painting, it even goes for making masks. Like this Jason here, when I paint it, I'll do all these lines here, like all the wrinkles and everything like that, a darker tone than what I would just the regular flesh tone. And it just gives it more character and, like I said, more depth. Now also, you can see it's, but with the, I forget what I was going to say. Oh, it doesn't hurt to have some reference photos too. Reference photos is normally really well. I've just done so many of these now, I know what spots I need to do to hit. So now I'll even get some charcoal on my fingers, and I just go over the eyebrows and just bring them out a little bit stronger. And they go on pretty dark. These. I like to put some dirt on the neck. The ears, I'll do the same thing, just on the high points. Line even. Neck. It's nice to get all gross and filthy. I got these blanks from Rick Ramby, and he did a very good job with these blanks. So props to Rick. There, that's basically how I do my Halloween 1 paints. He wanted it pretty weathered, so this is probably a little heavier weathering than what I would normally do on my H1s, but that looks pretty good if you ask me. So now, to seal it, I use this stuff, Plasti Dip, and you have to make sure that there's not a film over it. And I'm just just going to put some more markings on the back here too. No part of this mask goes untouched. And that just seals that stuff in. I'm just going to leave that, let it dry, and it will look good. Okay, so that's how I do my paint on my Myers masks. Hope you enjoyed.